Phil, how are you? How are you, sister? Are you getting ready for work, Sister Blue? Yeah, it's our bedtime, Phil. You didn't miss anything. Sol didn't even show up, so we were all waiting around for Sol. No, we're not waiting around, but we were all meeting up with Sol, so and she didn't come. She must have got busy with the kids, so all good. We were just waiting for her to ping us and tell us when she was available. Because we haven't caught up for a while, and because we've got this big I keep wanting to say solar eclipse, but it's lunar eclipse. This big lunar eclipse in Scorpio. I'm just going to switch the chat over. Can I pop the chat out over here? I can. I can put the chat here. Amazing. Oh. Okay, that's like so good. I could do that. Oh, it disappears then. Hang on. Back. Come back, chat. I'm gonna switch these two around. Oh, come back. Oh dear. Moving things around and it's going all funny. Oh, OBS. Don't play games with me now. Is this like Mercury retrograde or something? No, it's not. Although, all the planets involved with the eclipse, who bloody knows? Which is what we're going to talk about today. Because there's like eclipses every 6 months. Yeah, they come and go. But this is a powerful one. Because there's so many planets involved. And we're in powerful times. And things are changing. Oh, that'll have to do. Hopefully that stays there and I don't lose chat. It was Sol's idea. She wanted to catch up, but obviously I'm down to catch up anytime with her and any of you guys. Warming up. Sort of. It's still cold. I guess it's warmish tonight. I don't have a jumper on yet, but I did close the door so to get warm. I do have a jumper here in case it gets cold, but it's like, I swear, Phil, last year in October, I reckon, I was complaining. Maybe I was, sort of. Anyway, I was going on about how it was still cold. And it's like winter had extended and summer hadn't even come yet. And then this year, it's like now November, I'm complaining about that. So it's like it's getting longer. The seasons are changing. They're not quite the same. But then I heard something the other day that how, like in America, they're saying that they don't even have a autumn. It's like straight into winter. So I guess for us, it's like we're not really having a spring. We're just going to go straight into summer, probably into crazy heat. So, yeah. Hi, Patrick's not lucky. How are you? So, all right, let me switch these over so that I look at you guys. And I'll put the chart on the other screen and try this. So then I probably don't look at the chart as much as I look at chat. But I don't know, maybe I do. We'll find out. I can always change it back. Okay, so I'm good, thank you. I'm glad you are good as well. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the lunar eclipse. And I don't know why I have a problem with saying lunar eclipse. I feel like it's solar, but it's not. We've had that. But the last time it was an eclipse in Taurus, it was a solar. This time it's a lunar eclipse. I have nothing planned. I'm just going to talk about whatever comes to mind. That's the way I do my astrology, more intuitive. And not really, I don't really write it down. Sometimes I write a few notes here and there, but I don't really write, unless I'm doing like a full structured video. I don't really write notes, but this is more just chatting and that. I like this style better. I think my teacher calls it hypergating it. Which I've done his courses, but maybe I've forgotten. I'm really forgetful, but yeah. So I believe it's like the Ice Age. We're going through cycles. Yeah, the seasons are changing for sure. Like it's different. Like, you know, like I don't know, like some of us know that like there's the Gregorian calendar and then there's like different calendar systems and they're like not all accurate necessarily, or things have been changed or manipulated possibly, and that's why we have like leap years and shit, and things don't necessarily line up and things are probably always changing. So yeah. Oh, thanks for the follow, Patrick's Not Lucky, and welcome. So alright, so you can see here, I think that I should probably, because we're just going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about the weekly astrology so much, just more the eclipse because it's so powerful, and talk about it probably for each sign and then look at some charts if anyone's still around. I'm not going to like ramble for ages because like I said, I'm not going to talk about the weekly astrology. So might bring it up in paint so we can draw on it. Then I can explain a bit better. So this is the chart for now. So let me animate it so we can move through it. Are you on the animated one? Nope. Let me just pick that up so that you change to the animated chart. Oh, Phil, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. It's the 6 months in a row as well. Oh, so sweet, Phil. Thank you. I just like having you around, Phil. You've got a good energy. Animated page. Here we go. Okay, yep. So I think you see that now. It's the animated page. Where's my cursor? Why is it not coming up? Alright, we're going to move the chart forward a day. I think the eclipse is actually, I did a post on Instagram this morning, but I think it's exactly a day away now. Like it's tomorrow night for me. So at the moment it's 9:50 p.m. On Monday night. But for you guys, I'd say it's, a lot of you feel it's not. But for everyone else, a lot of you, it is Monday morning. You're waking up now. So, and the eclipse is actually being seen from quite a few places. I'll show you too. We'll have a look at that quickly after we pull up the chart. But Australia is one place the eclipse is being seen from. Europe, Russia, I guess parts of Asia, the Pacific Ocean, and parts of America. I can't remember where, but I'll show you a map and we'll have a look. So where the eclipse is seen from are places that the energy is affected the most. So if you're somewhere, like for me in Australia, and the eclipse can be seen from Australia, then the energy is more effective towards me. And then if it's hitting anything in my chart, but in particular, so not just my area, like so my neighborhood, my city, my town is being affected, but if it hits anywhere in my chart in particular, then I'm even more so affected because it's my area that it's being seen from and it's hitting my chart. If it's not seen from where you are, but it's hitting your chart, it can still be significant because anytime there's an astrological energy that hits a point in our chart that's significant, that is a point in our, like a planet or a angle or something in our chart, then it is, yeah, very powerful. And it's an eclipse, so it brings omens as well. And it's sort of like a double eclipse, this one as well, because we've got Uranus, which is being eclipsed by the moon as well, according to ancient astrology, so esoteric astrology. So it's like double eclipse-ish sort of thing with Uranus being eclipsed as well. Oh, Wine Human, are you here? How are you? Tell me what's happening with you. I love like you telling me, giving me updates of what's happening. Hopefully one day I will go to Melbourne and meet up with boys. You always say Melbourne. I'm not in Melbourne. I'm in Brisbane. But yeah, Phil, definitely. And don't think like that. You will just think that you're rich and you will be rich. And yeah, we'll catch up for sure. Hey, maybe we'll come to you one day when I don't have to babysit cats all the time. Oh, May, thank you for the bits and thanks for being here. How are you? What time is it for you? Is it like probably later in the day, isn't it? Don't, you're not dumb, Phil. You said it last time too. It's okay. Okay. So, oh, 1 p.m. Yeah, I was gonna say it's later in the day. Yeah. Good to see everyone. It's cool that everyone's here. Keep getting lost now. So the chart. Can you? I feel like I was gonna say or do something else, but Wine Human, are you there? Tell me what's happening. I hope you're typing a big long story to me right now. Okay, so oh, everyone, do you like my shirt? So this is my brother's got a t-shirt business now, so this is my new shirt. Like, and this is my wrong way. Rising sign, sun sign, and moon sign. I have another one too that's got it on just this logo a bit higher, and then the 3 signs on the back, but it's downstairs and it's different. The signs on the back aren't these colors like this. So yeah, I was playing around with them. Yeah, so you can get your sun, moon, and rising. I don't know if people will like it, but I just designed it because I thought it would be cool. I love it. But yeah, obviously I could do any kind of shirt. My brother has the t-shirt businessy thing now that he started up. Actually, he's doing baby blankets, but he can do t-shirts and canvases and all sorts of stuff. So yeah. Oh, very curious about Eclipse season. Kind of feel like I'm right on the hinge of going into the new things from the old things. Oh yeah, that's so Eclipse energy, especially the Scorpio and the Taurus energy, and just eclipses in general, because eclipses are the south node and the north node, and the south node is the past, leaving the past behind, and the north node is the future, our destiny fated, what we're going towards. So we're letting go of old things, moving away, moving forward, and going towards we're moving out of our comfort zone and going towards things that are a bit more uncomfortable and more of the unknown, especially because we have Uranus with the north node, and that's unknown things, unexpected things too. So we're moving towards that energy. So I don't know if you can see the chart, but let me just get the chart exact. So we've got 16 degrees. I think it is at 16 degrees. So it is, like I said, it is this time tomorrow night. So we've got and there's so much involved with this eclipse as well. So 16 degrees, 16 degrees, 16 degrees. We want how many minutes? 9 minutes. That's pretty close. I mean, we can get it exact and go back a minute. Friend of Baphomet. Hello, friend of Baphomet. Welcome. Thank you for your subscription. Have you followed? Have you changed your name? Are you someone else, or are you new? Thanks for being here. I don't know any of this stuff, but I just listen and hopefully get some knowledge out of it. Phil, you've grown so much in the time that I've known you. And you're just so open to learning, which is so good, I think that's why I would probably get along, because I'm the same. I love learning and learning from it, and listening to other people and hearing from other people what they have to say. Especially when it comes to astrology and connecting all the dots together. That's fun. That's why I want to hear what's going on with you, Wine Human, because that's fun as well. Why didn't I know about the Discord? Ignoring my stream elements things as well. They're old. I should delete them. I keep saying that every time, but I don't come on enough to remember. Yeah. Why didn't I know about the Discord? What? You mean like us? Oh, my Discord? Oh, because we're not, I don't know, it's not a big thing. Like, only we just people just talk in there when they randomly feel like it. It's not really that consistent. So, yeah, sorry, Mai. Didn't know you didn't know. Yeah. But yeah, well, Soul, it's like Soul's the leader of everything. So when Soul like wants to like get on chat and that, then we all jump on chat. So yeah, she sort of leads. She's the leader. She leads things. I think that I would be since it's my Discord, but I just go with the flow, I guess, and what everyone else wants to do. But I joined your Discord, Mai. So yeah, that's good that you. I think you've been streaming a lot more because you're obviously getting a little community going. I shouldn't say a community going because I don't know how big it is. Friend of Baphomet. I'm new. Sorry, I got cat hair on me. My civil name is James. I'm in Oakland, California. Oh, nice, California. Soul is great. I'm just waiting on the city to approve the transfer of my license for my business. So finally, I don't know if you saw that comment. Oh, I didn't see it if you said it tonight, but I know that you were going through that last time. So everything is literally almost there. Okay, awesome. And I really just moved out of my shop. It's like really viscerally a big transition. Oh, that's good. And you've got, I guess, that Aquarius in you as well, so it can be a bit fixed and not always like change. But I'm Taurus, and I feel I'm quite fixed, and I'm like, I like change though. But then I think about it, I'm like, I guess like I like the change after it happens, but going through it isn't always as easy. So it's like I sort of understand that a bit more now, and I've realized that thinking of trying to reanalyze, let's say Virgo terms, analyze it a bit more. And yeah, I was like, I do like change, but it's not going through it isn't always the easiest. It's afterwards that I'm like, oh, I liked that change that happened. So, and I'm, you know, I don't know if that's a fixed energy, a fixed sign thing, and having fixed immutable energy or what it is, but yeah. Okay, so I was getting the chart to the minutes. We've got 16 degrees and 9 minutes, so we need to drag the moon back a few minutes to get it to where the sun is at. Oh, hang on. Is that exactly 16 degrees? 16 degrees in 0 minutes, 16 degrees in 0 minutes. Wow, exactly 16 degrees. No minutes. Wow, okay. So, 8th of November, which is tomorrow for me. Yeah, tomorrow, 8th of November for a lot of you as well, but 9 p.m. for me, so maybe like 9 a.m. on 8th of November for you guys. So like in 24 hours time, or 23 hours time, this eclipse is at its peak happening. Where I guess if you can see it from certain parts, which we're going to have a quick look at now, depending where you live, you can see it from there. Now, according to esoteric astrology and ancient texts and stuff like that, they say it's not good to look at the eclipse. It can be bad omens or whatever, or not so good. And the eclipse is to do with the north and south nodes, and they're seen as the dragon, and it's the dragon's head and the dragon's tail, and it's to do with them not being disconnected, so the head wanting one thing and then the body wanting another thing, and it's like one is driven by obsession and power, and the other is driven by spirituality. So it's like two energies that are very different, trying to pull you in different ways, different areas, because they've been severed. So, and it's dragon energy, so it's really quite interesting when you look into the actual not history, what's the word I was going to say, the mythology of the eclipses and what they mean, and the north and south nodes and what they represent, especially in our charts, which is like the north nodes, like where we can get obsessed, and then the south nodes where we can just be too comfortable and stuck in our what we come into this life knowing, basically our past or our past life karma, basically stuck there and not evolving and healing that karma. So did the chart change 13 degrees? I don't think it is. It mustn't have changed over to, it's on the animate page. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna save it to paint so we can draw on it. Oh, I don't want to actually print. I think I was gonna print out my printer. Oops. I'm gonna save the PDF. I think last time I didn't work this out either. Hey, what about Control P? I know that is printing. I just want to save PDF. Alright, I think I just took a screen snap thing, whatever it is, last time. What, snipping tool. I thought I had that book saved. Okay, let me just get this again and then I'll chuck it in paint. And then I can draw on it. I'm sure I could get some kind of app where I could draw on the screen like I used to have on the tablet. Would probably be handy. Right. Over here, mouse. Paint. Alright, so let me make all this too small. Resize. Okay, I think that will be better. Alright. Let me just bring up paint now. And then let's turn my screen up a bit. And then I'll resize. Okay, we want paint. Do I have it in here? Image. Application audio capture. What's that? How do I usually do paint? Game catcher browser. Image. Video capture. Window capture. Already got window capture in here. Play capture. Window capture. It is. Okay. Paint. Sweet. Okay. Paint. Alright. Now. Oh, it is there. Whoops. Okay. Let me just make that smaller. Taken over. There we go. Okay, I can get rid of that top bar too. Does it want to hide? Doesn't want to hide for me. Oh, there we go, minimize the ribbon. Okay, I just need to change the color and get the pencil out. Make it thicker. That's not it. Where's that? Oh, here we go. Size. This one. Okay, sweet. So you can see that now. All right. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to chat because I was getting distracted too much, and everyone's waiting probably for me to talk about proper stuff. Little is right. Oh, little. Yeah, but it'll grow. Everything's got to start somewhere. Hi. And I only just moved into my shop. I was very scared, but I don't mind changing 3 fixed signs. So maybe because you got Aquarius too. I'm pretty sure you do, because that's like more evolutionary, I guess. So it's like you can see the bigger picture. Oh, those curtains colourful. They look really cool. Yeah, my eyes are getting a bit sore from we're not having light, so I should probably put that on so it helps a bit in my eyes. No, the curtains aren't colourful. They're white, but they have hangy light things on them. like teardrop light thing. Not teardrop. What are they called? Scorpio Sun, Leo rising, Aquarius moon. Aquarius moon. I have Gemini Sun, Leo moon, and Leo ascendant. Oh, okay. So you have Gemini Sun, Leo moon. Gemini Sun, nice. Leo moon, and Leo ascendant. Oh, so moon in the first house. So we wear your heart on your sleeve. And what about your rising? Oh, Leo rising. Silly. Nice. I like Geminis. I always get along well with Geminis. I don't know if it's because I'm Taurus Sun and it's like the next sign, so we're like, you know, buddies. But yeah, I always like Gemini Suns. I'm so fixed. Moving is uncomfy. Taurus Sun, Leo Moon, and Rising. I've talked to a lot of I think Leo people too. Maybe that's because I'm Virgo rising and Leo is the next sign as well. But I usually get along with Leo risings too. One of my old friends was a Leo rising. She was Capricorn. Was she Capricorn rising, Leo sun? Maybe that was it. Okay, so all right, this eclipse. So we have the sun here at 16 degrees, we can see here, in 0 minutes. We have the moon in opposite, and that's what creates a full moon, is when the sun and moon are in a opposition. So you can see me drawing, yes, cool. So the sun and moon in an opposition creates a full moon. So the full moon is where the moon is being illuminated by the sun in that opposite sign, and the full moon is a very tense aspect in general. It's a culmination point, a completion point. So we're coming up to the end point of a 6-month energy that's playing out from when there was a new moon in Taurus back in May. And now this is the full moon in Taurus, the end of that cycle playing out. And the full moon is a completion, culmination. So it's a build up of that energy over the last 6 months, coming to a completion, culmination, celebration, a release, a letting go, a ending, all those things. And then the sun, opposite energy, is a release point for that tense full moon, that tense energy. I'm trying to think of another word, but it's not coming to me for that intense moon energy. You know, it's when the wolves come out. Or they say there's the most crime is when there's a full moon, or they say that's when the parasites come out, is when there's full moons. Like, you know, if you've got parasites in your body, because around the full moon you'll start to get the symptoms of parasites. So the sun is the release point. So when we have an opposition, it's another energy coming up against us, but it's another point of view, another perspective, a release point. We can look to it to release that tense energy from the moon. And because it's the sun, it's something that lights us up, it makes us happy. So it might be an opposition of something coming up against our emotional body, our subconscious mind, against our more conscious state, our physical body. Saturn and the moon are pretty much right on my ascendant. Oh, Saturn and the moon. I have Saturn and the moon together, so I understand that, but I don't have it on my ascendant. So that would be a lot more difficult. But I do understand that energy to some degree. It's 11:11. For you, Phil. It's not for me. It's 10:12. So I missed the 11 part, but I'm also an hour behind you, obviously, Phil. So it's getting late for you, Phil. Yeah, so that is what a full moon is about. So the new moon in Taurus, the new beginnings, new intentions we were setting back in May around Taurus themes of finances, money, our self-worth, our confidence, our skills and gifts and abilities, our financial security, our possessions, what other Taurusy themes? Around relationships, because it's ruled by Venus, our values, those sorts of things. So all of those things coming into, and depending where Taurus is in your chart as well, where the new energy, new beginnings, new opportunities, all of that, where that is falling into, depending where it is, because Taurus, that area, so we're looking at the Taurus Scorpio aspect as well. So wherever Taurus and Scorpio are in your chart is where this energy is playing out. So we just had the eclipse 2 weeks ago, the solar eclipse in Scorpio, which was when the sun and the moon were together. So it's like a creation, new moon energy when the sun and moon come together. And then when they're in that opposition, that's the full moon. So that's what we're experiencing now. So the new moon is like new beginnings, new opportunities, refresh, restart energy. And then full moon is that cycle coming to an end, a completion, an end. So we're finishing a 2-week cycle from the solar eclipse, solar eclipse, yep. And we're also finishing a 6-month cycle from the new moon back in May in Taurus. So I'm 6 hours away from you guys. Oh, yeah. Very on point for me. My north and south nodes are being tickled. Oh, wow. Okay, yep. Well, my sun is at 23 degrees and 49 minutes, I think. And like, some astrologers will say that you need a twilight orb, only like a couple of degrees. Some will say a large one is fine when it's like your major planets, like if it's on a major angle, like your ascendant, descendant, your midheaven, your IC, or if it's on your like sun, moon, or rising, a major body, then a wider orb is okay. So it just depends, and everyone's going to be different in how they feel the energies, and everyone's chart is different and individual as well. So like a Taurus rising person is possibly, or a Taurus sun person is possibly going to feel this more, because it's the energy's in that sign, and it's been in that sign building up for a while. And same with that Scorpio rising and Scorpio sun sort of person, or moon as well, if your moon's affected. And fixed signs too. We're going to remember the fixed signs are also getting hit hard, because it's creating that square with fixed energy. So we're talking about Taurus, Scorpio, they're fixed signs, they're fixed energies, opposite signs, and we're talking about the other fixed opposite signs, which is Leo and Aquarius, which you guys are all talking about now, and that's the energy being hit by this fixed square energy. So Aquarius and Leo, and then we've got Scorpio and Taurus, which are any placements we have in these energies are going to be getting hit by this and getting those tense squares and feeling this forced change coming upon us. Because what happens with eclipses is that what we haven't changed or changed ourselves in our lives, or internally, externally, whatever it is, then these eclipses come in and they force and bring that change into our lives, because we haven't done so ourselves. So it can be more harsh, it can be more uncomfortable, because we're not pushing ourselves to evolve, because that's what the eclipses want from us. We want spiritual evolution from the south node, but we want that also that human physical conscious evolution as well, of our soul as well, through the north node. My moon in Taurus ruled by that Venus in detriment and combust with so Venus in Scorpio and combust with the nodes makes me think about an unsatisfying relationship coming to an end. Yeah, definitely. You're saying the moon in Taurus. Yeah. So the moon is in Taurus, and it's also with Uranus too, we have to remember. So Uranus is trying to liberate us. It's trying to get us out of our comfort zone. It likes to. So when we talk about, actually, I'll get more into Uranus in a minute. So that north and south node, so we've got the sun and moon in that opposition, that full moon, and then the nodes come into play, which creates an eclipse. So we have the north node here in Taurus. Sorry, I'm pointing on here, not on here. We have the north node here in Taurus at 13 degrees, so it's within 3 degrees. So it's a total lunar eclipse. Lunar, I'm going to say lunar. And the sun down here within 3 degrees. So it's the nodes are the same degrees. And the sun and moon, because we're in that opposition energy of that full moon. So yeah, they're creating an eclipse because they're so close, the moon and sun, to the south and north node. So it's a total lunar eclipse because it is exact almost. It's very close. It's within, like, I don't know if it's 6 or 8 degrees that it's considered total, whether then it becomes partial. I can't remember. But yeah, so then let me just get rid of some of this mess on here, this chart. So then we have, with the sun, we've got Venus, which is there at 20 degrees, so it's within 4 degrees of the sun. So that is, I mean, you could say 3 degrees, you could say 5 degrees. I think because this is so powerful, we can say it's all connected. And Venus is also the ruler of this moon and this north node, because it's the ruler of Taurus. So she's so important what she's doing. So we've got a stellium there in that Scorpio energy, Venus in Scorpio, the sun in Scorpio, Mercury there at 15 degrees. And then even the south node, we included that. There's a big stellium of energy there in there. So it's like highlighting that energy so much, like that there's something important there for us. That stellium energy, that Scorpio energy is majorly important. And then as you were saying, friend of Baphomet, up here in the Taurus energy with the moon is the north node, which is our destiny, our future, what we're moving towards. It's faded energy. It's what we're here to ascend into in this lifetime, and essentially, but also we have to be careful not to become too obsessed with going towards that and leaving. So we have to be careful. So sometimes you'll hear that we come into this life and we have to get rid of and cut off our south node and move towards our north node. It's not so. I don't believe so. It's part of, we come into this life with our south node, our comfort zone, our past, our skills and abilities that we already know, and then we use them to move towards use that knowledge, our skills, all of that to move towards our north node, towards learning that. We don't cut it off. We use that power and energy, our past karma, to get towards that north node. What was I going with that? I can't remember where I was going with that now. But anyway, so Uranus is, so that north node is what we're moving towards, the destiny of the future, and it's there with the moon in that Taurus energy. And when we're talking about Taurus, it's about self-sufficiency. It's about relying on the self, using your own skills and abilities to create your own financial security, your own finance, your own possessions. It's about resources, and it's about Taurus. So it's about natural resources and nature and the earth and the environment. And it's about getting back in tune and touch with nature, but also it's about value, what we value, the things that are valuable, which can be skills, abilities, resources, that sort of thing, self-worth and confidence. And also it's not like necessarily minimalist. It can be like minimalist living and stuff like that, that Taurus-y energy with that north node and what we're sort of moving towards. But it's not about minimalism so much. It's more about only having things that are valuable, so not having all the crap and rubbish and all the extra things. So Taurus energy, Taurus likes to have the better, good quality things. So it's more about that. So having less of like all the crap and having more finer things in life that are more important and valuable to us. And so yeah, we have that Uranus energy there too, with the moon and with the north node. So Uranus is a liberation energy. It's a liberator. Uranus is the awakener. Uranus is electricity. So it can represent where we can have, like, if we're talking about on a worldly scale, and maybe even if it in our personal lives, you know, there can be electrical, technological issues. There can be things, earthquakes, because Uranus rules shaking and stirring things up in the earth in Taurus, and the resources and all that. So it also can represent, yeah, like natural resources and that, and Uranus. And I think, and the other day I heard that Scorpio, because it's gas and that, then it's like gases and stuff like that from deep down underneath the earth. So Taurus is above the earth, Scorpio is under the underground, underneath the earth. It's the underworld. So with that opposition of Uranus and that energy, it's like maybe there can be some kind of unexpected or things that shake or stir up with natural resources or gases or stuff like that, things that are under the earth that come up towards the earth with Taurus, because Uranus is in that opposition, and it's like creating that release point for the shit to come up from under the underground or whatever. I guess if you could think of it like that. Moon and Taurus ruled by that Venus in detriment. Yeah, so as you're saying, Venus in detriment. So Venus down there too, in that Scorpio, yeah, is in detriment. So Venus's home sign is Taurus and Libra, and it's most uncomfortable then in its opposite sign then, which is in detriment, which is in Scorpio. So Venus doesn't like to be in Scorpio because it's that opposite, that Taurus sign. It's in that murky, watery sign that is ruled by Mars and Pluto, and it's ruled by Mars, which is that sort of opposite sign of Venus. We're talking about feminine, masculine energies. Then it's that opposite of that sign of Venus, so it's not where she's comfortable. She's actually like even more in detriment though. Well, not more, but she's also in detriment. She's in detriment in Virgo, because she's at her peak in Pisces as well. But so it's not that she doesn't like to be in water, but it's just that it's that opposite sign of her comfort and home energy of Taurus. It's Scorpio, where it's again, so it's like Taurus is all about pleasurable things, and Scorpio is more about the uncomfortable, murky, truthful things, whereas Venus just likes pleasure and all the beautiful things and creativity and all that. And Scorpio is more about the darker side of life. So back to Uranus. Sorry, I got off track again. That's okay. My husband is Taurus. He's felt pressured. Yep. I feel like I've been working with the transition, so it's exhausting but not crazy. Relaxing. What's relaxing? Okay, so yeah, Uranus is shakes the things up, it stirs things up, it liberates us. It's here to raise our frequency. It rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is frequency. It's here to activate us. So it brings sudden change, unexpected things. So it's an energy about expect the unexpected, even though that doesn't make sense, you know. It takes us out of our comfort zone. Uranus is the rebellion as well, so it's where we can rebel against things. So the other side of, so I don't want to jump ahead actually. So, and Uranus and the moon. So the moon is our feelings, our emotions, our internal self. It's how we, what's going on with us on a subconscious level as well. Uranus there. So Uranus is also, so the other thing of this is, with this too, Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Mercury is involved in this. I've got so much going on. Let me just get back here. Mercury is also involved in this because Mercury is down here at 15 degrees with the sun, opposite at 16 degrees of Uranus. So Mercury is also involved too, and Uranus is the high octave of Mercury. So Mercury is our communication, our thoughts, our thought processes, our learning. And it's on a like human physical level, like our mundane stuff in a sense. Whereas Mercury is Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, so it's more about a higher communication, so like divine communication, spiritual communication, or like a what's the word I'm trying to think of? I can't think of it. Like a god, not god, but like a universal communication. Like it's I've never had that happen before. Reconnection successful, OBS. Okay, I've never had that happen before. Maybe I should check on Twitch. Thanks, Phil, if you're still here and listening. That's kind of you. Let me see if this is still working. Oh, it's restarted. Okay, it restarted the stream. That's okay. Hopefully, it's all good. Looks like it's still going. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Fine Human. Looks like, hang on, I missed a comment. Let me go back on the Twitch chat so I can see. So I should go to my creator dashboard. And then I won't miss anything on here. Oh, revelation. That's what you said, friend of Baphomet. Yeah, revelation can happen with Uranus here too in the moon. So it's like some kind of, and because it's the moon, it's a subconscious. So it's like something's coming through on a subconscious level, possibly, or from women, because the moon can represent women, and we've got Venus involved too. So it can be from a relationship, from women, where there's some kind of message, information, some kind of communication, some kind of thought, idea. Even some kind of memory can be triggered, some kind of trauma with a relationship or with women or with something from the past, because we're talking about past energy of South Node and North Node, and we've got this oppositional energy. So because we've got that happening too, it's like maybe with that, here, let me bring up paint. Yeah, with that, yeah, with that Mercury and that Venus and that Sun, it's like the Sun represents our soul, it's our heart, our happiness, what lights us up, what makes us happy. It's shining a light on like an area of our life or an area of our chart, showing where we can get vitality, where we can find joy, and some kind of pleasure. And well, with Venus and the Sun here, it is that showing where we can find pleasure and love and fun and play and joy and romance and all these things. And with Mercury, it's also contracts and business contracts and communications and ideas and information and coming together with like similar motivations and stuff like that with those energies together. And because when we have the Sun and Mercury together, the Sun and Mercury are like best friends. And the Sun and the Sun and Mercury and Venus are always quite close to each other. They're never more than like 2 signs apart from each other. Oh, my ear just popped. So it's like they're all friends hanging out over here together. With the uncomfortable South Node though, and it's in Scorpio, so they're not hanging out in their favorite signs by any means. And then we have over here, the discomfort of Uranus in Taurus, which Uranus doesn't like to be in Taurus. Taurus and Venus doesn't like Uranus being in Taurus. Venus over here doesn't like Uranus being in her home sign of Taurus because it brings discomfort, because he wants to shake and stir things up and liberate things and rebel and all that. Whenever we've got Venus and Uranus involved, it involves things that are like untraditional, or things that are seen as, and because we're talking about Scorpio energy too, definitely things that are seen as taboo or different, or not looked upon as society, or not to standard or to regulations or to following the rules, or not to what is sort of like expected, or this like the standard or the social status, or it's like going against that, rebelling against that in some way. It's black sheep energy when we talk about Uranus energy. And then when we're putting it together with Scorpio sort of energy too, we've got all this energy combined. Scorpio is definitely a sign that, you know, it keeps its cards close to itself. It doesn't like small talk. It likes to go deep and get to the truth of the matter of things. So the sun in Scorpio is shining a light and bringing shining a light in the darkness. So the sun is shining a light on all the darkness in our lives, in ourselves, and bringing it up to the surface to be revealed. The truth coming up to the surface, trauma just coming up to the surface. And because we've got that moon there in that opposition with that north node, it's bringing up an aspect of healing. It's like pushing us to heal in some way, so that we can move towards our future, towards our destiny, towards that north node energy. Okay, I haven't missed anything else. So it's all, so when we're talking about Scorpio and Taurus energy too, so what the Scorpio energy too is trying to shake us out, and that's Uranus, shake us out, liberate us from relying on other people's resources and money and finances, relying on banks, taxes, inheritances, those sorts of things as being our like ultimate security, or our safety net, or our comfort zone, or what we're relying on, or what we're depending on. Instead, this energy and our evolution, you know, the collective evolution wants us to evolve and wants us to become more self-sufficient, and using our own skills and abilities, our own resources, our own finances, our own possessions and all that, to create our own finances, our own wealth, our own stability, more of it, our own confidence and self-worth, coming from being able to create financial security and create our own safety and whatever else, our own foundation stabilities, whatever it is, through our own hard work, through our own energy, basically, as well, our ability to manifest as well. So Taurus is like the builder energy too, so it's like what we're building, and in a sense, like, because it's that earth sign energy, we're building and working towards what we're physically putting our energy into. So with all of this going on too, so when we're talking about Taurus and the ruler being Venus, then it brings in relationships as well. So because we've got that energy there of Venus, and we've got the south node, it's about releasing and letting go, like Baphomet, you were saying before, friend of Baphomet, releasing and letting go of karmic relationships that are no longer in alignment, that are making us happy, that are draining our mind, or that are bringing up like toxic patterns in us, or keeping us stuck in toxic patterns, or toxic thought patterns, or not having good, like, healthy routines and all of that, because we're stuck in trauma or anxiety or stress, or not in our power. So we've got the sun there in Scorpio too with that south node, and it can represent like us. It's illuminating where we're not feeling in our power, where we're feeling disempowered, where we're not feeling in control. It's also bringing up where we feel like we possibly had control, but we're really seeing that we don't have control. It's like a false sense of control or a false sense of power over things or people or our lives or our jobs or work or whatever it is, our health, whatever it is. It's like a false sense of power or control. Like we don't really have control. The universe, God, whatever it is, a higher being, the whatever you want to say it is, it has the ultimate power. Like there's things that are fated and destined. Yes, we might have free will in some ways, but ultimately things are destined and fated for us. We see that through astrology as well. But yes, but the sun is illuminating that energy where we're out of control, but we think we're in control. So yeah, if you know where Scorpio is in your chart, and you can look to that and you can see where you're, wherever that Scorpio energy is, where you're maybe holding on too tight, or that Taurus energy, it could be where you're holding on too tight, where you need to, so if we're talking about, that Taurus energy in your chart, where you're holding on too tight, where you need to release and let go, where you feel like you've got a false sense of security somewhere, that's holding you back from your future, from your destiny, from moving forward. And that opposite energy is released from another perspective, another point of view. So it could be a relationship, a project, it could be money or finances holding you back. It could be Scorpio energy, so it could be investments, other people's resources and money, a partner's resources and money. It can be, because it's Mercury involved too, it can be just us and our mind and our thoughts and thought processes being toxic or being negative or being overwhelmed and or being really dark and or stuck in trauma that's holding us back from moving forward, from making our moves, from being honest, from speaking our truth, from communicating. There's the past that's holding us back, and the sun is highlighting and illuminating where we're not happy, where we're not really feeling joy, and where we're not finding vitality and energy, and we're actually getting drained, and it's draining our energy. So when we talk about energy, then we have to look at the other part of this eclipse too. There's like even more to it. So we have Saturn up here at 18 degrees. So we're looking at degrees here. So we've got 16 degrees, which these aspects are making. And then we've got, let's go back a bit, 16 degrees, 15 degrees here, 20 degrees with Venus there. And then we have Saturn there at 18 degrees in Aquarius. Aquarius is a sign of the people. It's a sign of the bigger high picture. It's a sign of humanity, of our conscious evolution. So Saturn is in a square because it's 3 signs away from both of these. So it's actually creating a T square here. So we've got a square and a square. And then we've got that oppositional energy, and we're just creating that T. So that T square. So it's T for tense. It's a very tense aspect that's happening. So Saturn is tense by itself. Saturn is a square. So square energy is something that is, well, we talk about Saturn. Saturn in general is going to bring restrictions, delays. It's all about time and how we're managing our time, what we're putting our time and energy and effort into. It's where we need to show up. It's where we need to commit. It's where we need to take responsibility. It's where we can feel more burdensome, like we've got put a lot more effort in, a lot more hard work, a lot more responsibility. We've got to show up a lot more. All of those things are Saturn. For ultimately, if we stay on track and committed, we can have a big reward in the end from seeing the growth from hard work over time, which is Saturn time. And so that energy here is in that square, and so a square is tense because it's conflicting, it's restrictive, it's can be make us have to detour another way, or it what's the word, it stops us from taking action. It restricts us from taking action. It brings up struggles and conflicts. Like being on a stationary bike in a way, I guess it could be. So Saturn is actually now direct in Aquarius and moving towards Pisces, which will be there in March, and we'll have a huge shift in our lives and in the world once Saturn moves into Pisces. So Saturn is so when we talk about Saturn and Venus, we're talking about in the square, so it can bring some hard lessons in relationships and with commitments and with people and projects and finances and money, investments, taxes, inheritances, insurances, some kind of restrictive obstacle energy, something that's conflict, something that is restricting, something that is uncomfortable and a hard lesson. So it could be something where we thought an investment was going to work out and it didn't. We're learning a hard lesson from it, and we need to release and let go of that, the fact that we've lost that investment, and not hold on to that emotional trauma from it. Sorry, that's just an example. It could be a relationship we're releasing and letting go of a relationship because we're putting too much time, and it's taking too much time and energy and effort and draining our energy and it's too toxic and all that, and it's draining our energy and causing us to not be able to commit and show up for the things in our life that make us happy, that light us up, that bring us joy, that we find that we're passionate about, because the sun is there too. Again, we could be seeing where we're restricting ourselves, we're holding ourselves back, or we're feeling stuck or whatever because of our mindset being toxic, our being stuck in trauma in the past, not being able to have faith and trust that, there's a bigger higher picture because of Saturn. There's a bigger higher picture, that there's a bigger purpose, and we need to show up for more than like just ourselves and our past and our trauma, and get out of our comfort zones and do something that's going to build on something that is for a bigger picture, that's better for humanity, that's going to create some kind of legacy, or some commitment, or some long-term reward, basically, from putting in the hard work and committing and showing up and all of that. So it's releasing and letting go where whatever's restricting us and stopping us from being able to do that and show up for our purpose, for the bigger picture. Someone chat and say hello if you're still there, because no one said anything for a while and I know it disconnected before. I mean, I can just talk to myself, but it's always nice when you're talking to people. Thanks, Sister Blue. So sweet. All right. So So wherever Aquarius is in your chart, where the Saturn energy is, that's where you can feel the restriction coming from. So there could be some authority figure in your life. There could be a boss, an authority figure. It could just be some kind of, it could be society. It could be to do with like what you're building and working towards in your legacy versus your relationships and your love and what you want to do, what makes you happy and what you find fun and find pleasure in and all that. There could be something there where it's like you just want to play and have pleasure and have fun and joy and all that, and you don't want to have to do the hard work and show up and you know, contribute to society and do the hard work sort of thing. There's it could be something there with that as well, with that energy playing out. And when we look at the square aspect then too with the North Node and Saturn, and the Moon and Saturn. So the Moon and Saturn in the square. So the Moon, it can represent women. It can represent our subconscious mind. It can represent our internal self, our emotions, our feelings, what we need to feel safe and emotionally content. And it's with Uranus there too. So it's like, and Saturn and Uranus have been in this square on and off for the last like 2 years. And this is like the last final square where they're moving away from each other now. And Uranus wants to rebel and liberate and shake and stir things up and go against Saturn, which is about restrictive and doing the right thing and following the rules and showing up and all of that. So we've got two energies that do not work well together, don't like each other. They're actually in... Hang on. No, they're not. So although they both rule Aquarius, they don't really get along in that sense, and Uranus is the more powerful energy because it's the furthest planet out to Saturn. So Uranus actually overpowers Saturn in a sense. So that rebellion energy comes in. So we want to like rebel against someone or something or society or people or what's expected of us or something we thought we had to put a lot of time and energy and effort and responsibility and all that into. Our emotions are coming up and are taking over because Uranus and that are involved, and we're rebelling in some way, we're breaking free in some way, we're getting out of our comfort zone, we're taking a risk, we're liberating ourselves from that restrictive energy, from an authority figure, from a hard lesson, from a commitment, from too much responsibility, from a burden, from an obstacle. There's a part of us that is going through a hard liberating energy because it's that restrictive energy. It's like we're really wanting to break free and liberate, but there's something holding us, restricting us from doing that, quite holding us back, and it's going to feel very intense because it's ready to bust because it's so emotional, and there's that emotional full moon energy involved there with Taurus, and that Taurus energy can be really sensitive sometimes because especially when it doesn't get what it wants, because it's very sure on what it wants, and it just knows what it wants. It just wants what it wants, and like when it doesn't get what it wants, it can be very stubborn and upset and not want to do anything or change anything or whatever else. And because that Taurus energy can be so fixed as well, that when Uranus wants to fight with that Saturn energy and wants to rebel, it can feel quite uncomfortable for that Taurus energy too. And with the moon there, it's our feelings and emotions. So because it's that opposition too, we're going to feel maybe a lot of like we could feel like we need to eat like comfort eat and stuff like that because it's that Taurus and that moon energy. So we could find some comfort from like, well, we could be where we're overeating or finding comfort from eating or something like that with that Taurus energy, or overindulging in some way, or or it's Taurus energy, where it's like we're holding on too tight and we're like, we need to see where we're like hoarding, or where we're where we're hoarding, or where we're the other word, something I wrote in a post this morning actually. What did I say? Where we're hoarding, or having scarcity issues, or insecurities and stuff like that. That's like, it's going to be feeling really uncomfortable. Those emotions, those insecurities are going to come up to the surface. Uranus is going to bring all that up to liberate us as well. Like, it's going to be triggered in us, especially because we're talking about Scorpio energy too, and we've got Mercury there, which is the mind and communications. There are going to be some triggering conversations possibly from people, from relationships, and the sun's there, so it involves ego, so people's egos coming out and people triggering each other, which is going to then trigger the emotional energy that's going to come up because it's a full moon. So the emotions are going to come out, and it's going to be like verbal, because we've got Mercury in Pisces too. Verbal diarrhea could possibly be something that comes up, or like nasty words and communication and stuff that's like been built up for ages, especially because we're talking about that Taurus, Scorpio energy. Taurus can like take a lot for ages, and then they get to a point where they just burst. So it's like that, where you've been just ignoring things for so long, whatever, and then they're just going to come up and just burst out basically, and it's going to be an emotional outburst. And then we've got the opposite Mercury energy of like verbal diarrhea, and Uranus there, which is like Uranus is the wild card, so anything's possible. Yeah, so I'd say like over the next like 2 weeks especially, energy is going to play out. So it's like, be careful with having outbursts and like things that have been holding in, or you've had buried down, coming up to the surface and coming out. I mean, sometimes things just need to come out and it just needs to happen, but just be aware that there'll be consequences because of Saturn involved. Saturn is about consequences and about hard lessons. So it's like, if we've been ignoring things and not working through shit, then that shit can come up to the surface and come out maybe not at good times when we're most uncomfortable, and pushes us out of our comfort zone to create change and change something. And it may not be at the right time, Saturn, when we want it, but when the universe or divine timing wants, Uranus wants it to happen. So this can be a lot. Thanks, Phil. Feels like Saturn is kind of in between two configurations that could be really impulsive, looking at more long term. Saturn is kind of in between two configurations. Yeah, that could be really impulsive, looking out for more long-term interests. Yeah. So Saturn is about the future, the bigger picture, what we're working towards, all of that. And in Aquarius is the future, the bigger picture, a higher purpose. And Saturn is, wants us to grow up and show up and take responsibility and commit to things, and learn the hard lessons over time. We get rewarded from that though when we put the effort and energy in over time. But Saturn is a 2.5-year transit, so we have to commit to something for 2.5 years to see the rewards pay out that are going to provide long-term results within 20 years for the further 20-year cycle of Saturn. So what else did we want to talk about? Said I wasn't going to talk too long. Then I can have a quick look at a couple of charts. Hi, Mai. I guess, like, if we look at the ruler of the South Node too, which is Mars, Mars is retrograde. So it's like in Gemini too. So it's like, yeah, it's not a good idea now to be trying to work through taking action on communication, taking action on ideas and plans and projects, and having those like tough conversations that are about, you know, action orientated, or that are about things that are to do with our passion and sexual energy and all that stuff as well, because it's in retrograde right now. So it's like going through an internal period, Mars, where it's going where we're going, taking action within. We're finding a new drive within that will then will take outside ourselves when Mars moves forward, so that we're taking action in the right directions and not just scattered energy. Because when Mars is in Gemini, it becomes really scattered. So it's helping us regather our information and our thoughts and our mindset. The biggest thing with Mars in Mars's transit in Gemini, between now and March, is mindset. It's like our mind, and the biggest lesson of this Mars transit is mind over matter. Where is and this Mercury energy is talking highly of that too, with that Scorpio energy. It's like mind over matter. Where is the mind and the thoughts taking over and becoming toxic and not allowing us to take action and move forward and go after what we want and what we desire, and be able to put plans into place and be able to have clear thoughts and clarity come through, and be able to process information on a healthy level that we're able to then put into action and do things with, instead of it just being so much information, so much going on, that it all just comes in and we can't do anything. We're so scattered, we don't know what to do because it's just too much information, too much going on. We can't organize it, and we can't differentiate what's real, what's right, what's important, what's not, what is essential to our path and to our direction. And so the biggest thing is coming out mindset. And I said about this Mercury here, it is all about, you know, if we're needing to release and let go Saturn, where we're not being in control of our own mind, like we're letting outside influences control us, outside people, relationships, media, it could be anything like that. We're talking about Mercury too, where we're getting influenced by outside forces basically, and they're controlling us or having power over our mind and our thoughts, and it's toxic, and it's disempowering us, and it's not allowing us to have a real sense of control, I guess, over ourselves, and be empowered in ourselves, and to have that mind over matter, and to have a good, healthy, positive mindset, because then we're looking to that Taurus energy, which is all about self-worth and confidence. So it's having an internal self-worth and confidence, internal security, inner security, not insecurities, but inner security, through your own self-worth and confidence and skills and abilities, and your own ability to create your own finances and possessions, and build things, that Taurus builder energy, and manifest things from what you have, because you've developed things through manifesting and creation, basically. So yeah, because that's the ultimate lessons with that North Node in Taurus is all about us moving towards our own inner security based on what we have and what we can do ourselves for ourselves. So I guess that's that Uranus energy can come into, where it's like where we are overdoing it and hoarding or being too cautious or too where the inner insecurities are being shaken out of us, and Saturn wants us to is showing where the restrictions are, where we're not showing up for the higher, bigger purpose, for our aspirations, for humanity, for the future, whatever it is, where we're not showing up because of our insecurities, because of our self-worth, our confidence issues, because of our ability to create and manifest what we want and what we desire. Is Saturn applying to Vesta significant here? So Saturn and Vesta. So I wouldn't say, I don't think they're really close enough, Saturn and Vesta at the moment, but Saturn will move towards Vesta. And Vesta is where we are investing in time, energy, ourselves, or whatever. Vesta's significant here. Yeah, so he will get closer, and then that's where we'll become more committed about our time and energy and what we're investing it into. Become even more serious. We won't have time for games and for playing, basically. It'll be very much like on your path and your mission, and building and legacy and the bigger picture and the future and humanity and for what's best for the people. Investing in the people. Mars and Gemini can be such a brat. I always think of his point sort of flitting around like a mosquito poking my insecurities. I have Mars in Gemini natally, so right on my midheaven. So I should be able to talk about that planetary energy so easily. Because I have it. It's definitely an energy where we can have so many ideas, so many projects, so many things going on, so many people we're talking to and communicating with, and like so much information being shared that it's just too much. We're starting things but not finishing them. We're initiating a lot of stuff. We're putting a lot of creative energy out there, but it's not getting the force to continue on and build something. It's just a lot of fire energy going out, but it's not going so much anywhere. It's just all over the place. Flitting energy, yeah. Or you could say Mars and Gemini's flirty energy too. It's quite flirty. It's able to get along with a lot of different energies and frequencies and different people and places and things. It's versatile like that. It's mutable. And it's interested and it's inquisitive. It's a very inquisitive energy, Mars in Gemini. It wants to know more and learn more and talk more and communicate more and find out more. But it's very initiated. It starts things, but it doesn't finish them. And it's not committing to it long term and doesn't have the energy to keep at it. It just wants to like get the excitement and the firiness started, and then it just burns out. So yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say about that. I did want to go through it for each sign, but it's getting late, so I might just do a video tomorrow and put it on Instagram and YouTube, going over it for each sign. Maybe I'll do that like tomorrow night. I won't do a live. I'll just go over it for each sign or But yeah, so if anyone wants me to have a look at their chart now, just comment in the chat your if I've already got your chart, you don't have to, but if you're new or I don't have your chart, your time of birth, date of birth, time of birth, place of birth. Time is essential. Place and date of birth, and I can have a look at your chart. I'll have a look at a couple of charts, and then I'll probably go before it gets too late. So we'll have a look at where this eclipse energy is happening for you in your chart. I have your chart, sister. Yes. I don't know if I have your chart. Let me just have a look. Let me have a look in. I don't think it is in my software. If it's not in my software, then probably not. No, I don't think I do have it. Alright, sister, let me have a look at yours first. Actually, I can bring it up to... Let me save the current chart. How to calculate chart list. Yes, thank you. That's what I want. Alright, sweet. So I can bring up these two. So let's rename this. Actually, no, that won't matter because you won't be able to see it anyway. Or will you? Cool. Hang on a sec. Let me check something. No, I don't have a chart in my other ones, no. And then sister. Okay, cool. Alright, so if I bring this up, I think it's F1? No. F2? No. I probably shouldn't be pressing all these different Fs. F7? No. Damn it, what was it? I thought it was F1. Oh, control F1? Yeah, that's it. Okay, control F1. Alright, let me get rid of paint. And alright, let me just make this a bit bigger. Okay, there we go. So, hey Spellwork, how are you? Good to see you. So, for you, sister, so Taurus energy, so where the moon is and where Uranus is trying to liberate you at 16 degrees is in the 7th house. Oh, so relationships. So where you're feeling intense emotions and feelings come up, where the North Node is making you evolve towards and move towards, where faded energies coming in for you is relationships and how you relate to others. It could be business partners, business relationships as well, to one-on-one relationships. And Uranus is there liberating you, wanting to shake you out and stir you up and bring some kind of unexpected change in that area of your life. So by the time Uranus leaves Taurus, your whole relationship life is going to look different, basically. And that's going to be like another 2 years until Uranus is out of there, I think. At least till the end of 2025. No, maybe another 2. Uranus is like a 7-year transit. It's another couple of years anyway, but you're being tested in relationships. Yeah. So the first house then is you. So where that sun, so what you're wanting to be. So the sun, so what was I saying before? So the sun is in that sun's in your first house at the moment, so it's trying to so you need to release and let go of parts of you and your identity. There's like trauma tied to it that's holding you back from having healthy relationships. And it could be things with communication and not speaking your truth and speaking up about what your needs are, what you really want and desire, what makes you feel good, what brings you happiness and what brings you pleasure. The truth of that's coming to the surface, and like that needs to be communicated in relationships. So there's some kind of like divine intervention, some kind of revelation has Brenda Baphomet said earlier, or some kind of communication or thought or idea that is divinely guided that's coming through from a relationship or to do with a relationship that makes you reflect on yourself, though. It's an internal reflection on yourself as well. And maybe, again, bring up the mindset. So it could be your mindset in relationships, like you fearing, being in the mode of fear that you're going to get hurt or that someone's going to do something bad to you, or old trauma from past relationships coming up that stops you from being in healthy, positive relationships and seeing a positive future in relationships because of the past trauma and fears holding you back. There could be something there with that too. 7 years, yeah. But Uranus is at 16 degrees, so it's more than halfway through that transit as well. So it can be around like, toxic mindset. So it's like, because of our fears and our past and the trauma, and because of, and it can even be related to, because we're talking about Uranus too there. It could be like, and we've got that Saturn there in that square. So that Saturn in Uranus is in the 4th house of home and family. So where you're feeling restricted, where there's an obstacle, where you're having to put a lot of time and effort and energy to, is the home and family. So that can be the restriction. That can be what's like not holding you back, but that's restricting you in some way, causing a conflict that's requiring you to put a lot more effort and time and energy into that home family, and it's in some way restricting you from having that, moving towards that relationship, that positive future with relationships. So 3 years. Yes, all true. Yeah. Let me have a quick look. I don't want to. I animate. Whose chart is it going to animate for me? Let me see if I go 1 year. Whose chart? Event. Okay, yep. So Uranus in a year is at 21 degrees. In 2 years, 25 degrees. 3 years. There you go. Perfect. Exactly 3 years. It's at 0 degrees of Gemini, and it's out of your actually it'll be out a bit after that, because your chart is your 7th house is a little bit of Gemini in there, so it's probably going to be like 3.5 years, 3 to 4 years until Uranus is fully out of that 7th house for you. 3 years until it's out of Taurus, but 4 years until it's out of your 7th house. It doesn't mean that's bad. It just means it's going to continue to liberate you in your. It just means that it's going to move back over here so I can see. It's going to liberate you in your relationships. It's going to evolve you and to raise your frequency, to get you into a more higher divine relationships. It's good. It's a good thing. Uranus is good. It's just that it gets us out of our comfort zone and shakes and stirs things up so that we raise our frequency. It's not always comfortable, but see, the other side of Uranus too is that it's exciting. It's electric. It's exciting. It's revolutionary. It's the future. So it's like good things. Yeah. I feel like it's very much about mindset and getting that first house is about you, who you are, involving the mind, getting the mind right, and yeah, especially with that Mars energy and like where's that Mars? That Mars is in will be in your the Mars is going to go over your south node too in the 8th house. So Mars going through that mindset retrograde in your 8th house of trauma and healing. So it's going to be a really big healing. 8th house is healing, so a really big healing process for you with Mars going through that 8th house for you. So it's like really big healing process around trauma and anything to do with sex and things that are taboo or to do with other people's resources and money and finances, taxes, inheritances, insurances, that sort of thing. But very much about the trauma and the healing and getting into your power. So getting more into, because it's going to go to the south node too. So it's releasing you from the past, from your karma, from past trauma and karma, and helping you to get a better mindset and not be so stuck in the past and trauma and the south node things of being too safe and in your comfort zone. So I think it's, and that, because it's in that Gemini energy, it's like really helping you to speak up and speak your truth and say what you need and what you want and what you desire in relationships. That's nice, sister. I wish you the best with the eclipse. All to evolve us and to get us to a better, higher place at the end of the day. It's just sometimes we have to go through more difficult energies, but if everything was easy, then we wouldn't appreciate the good when we have the good. That's how it is. Okay, so Mai, you're gonna send me your details, Mai? So we can look at your chart. Oh, thanks, Mai. I always take. And then it was friend of Baphomet. You posted your details, I think, didn't you? Yes, I'll do yours next. Okay, Mai. Let's have a look. New chart. Fellow Taurus. Eyelash or something harassing me. Okay, let's see if that works out. Okay, I think that's worked. And what do we say? Control F1. Haha, there we go. Okay, so oh, you didn't want to interrupt Lou's reading. Oh, that's very nice of you. It's okay. All right, so so Taurus, where is your oh, you're Gemini rising. So I've never hang on, that's the event. Wait. You're over here. It's opened up the other way. Wait, you're a Leo rising. Have I not looked at your chart before? So Sun in the 10th house. Oh, Sun in the 10th house. In Taurus too. That's a nice place to have it. And that's a good placement. So our Moon in the 12th house. That's a harder placement to have. It's not bad though. It's very psychic and intuitive. But it's a more sensitive place to have your Moon in the 12th house. Alright, so your sun's at 17 degrees. So this eclipse is on your sun pretty much. 16 degrees it's happening. Am I looking at this right? The event chart is on the left, your chart is on the right. I got the right details. Yep, okay, sweet. My cycles. Funny moon cycle. That's hilarious. Yeah, so your sun is there. Your sun is there conjunct with the moon and opposite the solar collective sun. So the sun in our sky is opposite your natal sun. So there's an opposition of suns there, which can feel quite intense too, because it's like you're on a seesaw of trying to find, like, I'm happy here, but I'm also happy here. It's like, which one do I choose? I'm finding happiness in like 2 different areas, and it's like I'm at a point where I'm having to like release and let go of one place where I thought I was really happy and was bringing me vitality and energy, and I was finding lots of joy and happiness, to really connect into another area of life that is going to truly bring me a real sense of happiness, and not a like false sense of happiness or something that's been built on trauma or fear or control or power, and more of a sense of happiness and joy and pleasure that comes from a soul purpose, something that really is going to evolve you and take you to like higher places and better places, and that are fated and destined are exciting, and that that liberate you and excite you and take you to like places you never thought you'd go, or things you never thought you'd do, or people you never thought you'd be with or see, or that sort of thing. So so in the 10th house too, so this is that north node there, the future. So it's like very much touching on legacy. So it's like very much about you releasing and letting go of what I said, what you thought what has brought you pleasure in the past, happiness in the past, maybe old hobbies, a part of your inner child, or the child part of yourself has to be transformed and like empowered again. There's a part of you that like you need to let go of control over romance and passion and dating and relationships or something like that, maybe, and how you find pleasure. There's where it's like really toxic, and you're stuck and you're not in your power, and you're giving your power away, and you're stuck in fear or trauma, or in a false sense of happiness or something there that's not really serving you. So it's like, it can be like gambling too, or where you're like having too much pleasure and fun and play, and you're not showing up enough for your work and your commitments and your legacy and what you want to work towards and build for the future, and what you want to leave your mark on this place in society, on this planet. It's like where you're maybe doing too much pleasure and play and fun and maybe gambling and um, it could be anything like that, instead of focusing on your uh, is that right, fifth house? Um, it's not fifth house actually. Sorry, that's not right. So for you to move towards your future and your destiny and your legacy and your career, now it's not the pleasure. It is about pleasure and all those things, but it's not about your hobbies and all of that and your romance and passion and that. It could be related to a relationship and all of that, but it's to do with home and family. So your home, your family, your where you have your safe space. So it's like um uh so you need to get out of your comfort zone. So it could be like you need to get out of your home where you currently live, who you're living with. There could be like a masculine, because it's on your Mars energies they're connected to, like a masculine person that you live with, or that's connected to your home or family, that like holds you back, or that keeps you in fear, or that keeps you out of your power, or from like being being in your power and having control. It's like some kind of control over you or something like that, or it's your um uh um uh sexual desires, something like that, that's holding you back, and it's connected to like home and family and heritage or ancestry, or um your home and family, something in some way, your home, where you live, who you live with, something like that, that there's an energy there that's holding you back, keeping you stuck, keeping you in trauma, keeping you in fear, not allowing you to be happy and have true happiness and passion and love and joy and pleasure and all those things. There's like something holding you back, and it's stopping you from taking action, from moving forward, from having the passion and love and desires and something you want. um, so that south node is there sitting with your on your Saturn too, in that fourth home of so it's also um there's an energy where you need to have a really good home and stability and foundation set up for yourself. That's what you need to be focused on, and like committing and showing up and putting effort into having a good family home and stability, and somewhere you can have a safe space where you can nurture and care for yourself. So that comes up too, where it's like, are you looking after yourself? Are you caring for yourself? Are you do you have that self love and all of that? And do you have a safe space somewhere you can nurture and care for yourself, and have somewhere that you can nurture and love yourself and mother yourself? It's very much that energy can come up too, where it's like, are you mothering and caring and looking after yourself? So that you can then go out and create and chase after your dreams and your legacy and what you want to create and build and work and go after it. You need to have that strong foundation first. So there's a releasing and letting go of any fear, any trauma, any past things around that, being able to have that safe foundation and create that strong home base so that you can go out into the world and go after what you want. So there's something toxic there, something holding you back, something um I'm suddenly rearranging my flat in the past 3 days. I hate changes. Yeah, so I mean, it could be feng shui, just rearranging a space and your energy, um, getting more organized, because Saturn's there too, and because Mercury's there too in that energy. So Mercury likes us to get organized, to sort things out, to work things, to fix things. So Mercury there in that energy too can be helping you to, especially the Sun there too, to work things out and fix things. Um, yeah, so there can be something tied to like ancestry too, um, as well. That's like to do with trauma and the mind and stuff that needs to be healed, like family stuff that can come up that's like stopping you, holding you back in relationships. Um, or business partnerships, something like that can be connected to, because we're talking about the legacy in that, because or it could be just a legacy, you being able to create a legacy with a partner or in a relationship. There's something with family and trauma that is holding you back. So having Saturn in the fourth house too, and it's in retrograde natally in your chart. I'm not sure whether you had like um, a lot of rules with your family and growing up. Was it really? I don't know if your family was really, or like your father was really restrictive, or your home life was really restrictive, or there's a lot of rules, a lot of boundaries. And that's this another energy that's coming up during this eclipse for everyone too, because we're talking about Saturn is boundaries. Where have we not had really good boundaries with people and relationships and our projects and that, where we've been to letting too much of our energy out, giving up too much of our time to people and places and things, and not having good boundaries. So a big thing is coming up with boundaries with this too. It's like us needing to get past the trauma and the insecurities and the fears and have stronger boundaries. So not just saying yes because we don't want to upset people, or we're scared of not, people losing their power or their control and stuff like that. So we play it nice and play it safe. So it's like helping us to get out of that so that we can have stronger boundaries and say no and only do what's right for us and it's destined for us and it's within our energy and our space and our time and that's beneficial for us. Yeah, it was very strict. Yeah, that can be with Saturn there. Um, Saturn there in the fourth house. Uh, so the fourth house, mind, thoughts. Oh, there could be something with siblings too, possibly because of fourth house and Mercury. So there could be something with siblings that comes up for you, my as well. Your relationships with your siblings, possibly, or some kind of communication from a sibling or something like that. Um, that helps, clear some kind of family stuff or trauma, or something comes up to surface to be illuminated, or some kind of revelational thought or information or idea about the family or about a sibling. Yeah, there could be something there. And so where the obstacle is, where you're restricted, where you're um need where you need to have strong boundaries, where um there's an obstacle, a delay as well can be around your work, what you do on a day-to-day basis, around your health, your routines, your well-being. So um there's a restriction there. So it's like whether you need to put more time and effort and energy and show up more for your health, your well-being, your work, your day-to-day, what you do on a day-to-day basis, your well-being. So it's like, are you going to bed and getting up early enough? Are you looking after your health? Are you exercising? Are you making sure that you're doing like meditation or yoga or daily practices or breath work, whatever it's anything, whatever it is that you do in your daily practices to like get yourself um, set for the day and to have like a good daily routine or practice or something like that. There's something there with like the daily routine practice work, what you do on a day to day basis, your health, your well being, your and it can be all tied to your mindset as well. So it's like and it's tied to like the home and family. So it's like do you have a good plan and do you have a good space, home, whatever it is, somewhere that you like? If you're not living in a good environment or space and it's stopping you from being able to have good, healthy routines in your life, which is causing a restriction and then stopping you from having able to show up for your career and your legacy and all of that, it all ties in together. if you get what I mean. I have two brothers. Let me flip a coin. Well, something could come through from a sibling, possibly. Um, that's tied in with this eclipse as well. Some information, a message, communication, an idea, a revelation, anything like that could come through. Some high divine message that is tied to a brother, and Mars is there too, so it's masculine energy, a brother, or some kind of like past trauma that comes up about that can be cleared and released and let go, or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, we're just looking at natal charts. We're not looking at progressed. If we look at your progressed chart too, we can like get even more of an idea of what's going on. So it's just a quick look at your natal chart to see what's happening. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. Thanks for letting me look at your chart, Maya, and thanks, Sister Blue. I didn't say thank you to you as well. Are you still here, my friend? Friend of Baphomet? If you're still here, I'll have a look at your chart. I've got the details in front of me. Let me know if you are, and we can have a look. Okay, sweet. Okay. Alrighty, so let's just make sure I've got the details right. Scroll back up. 20th of June. Okay, sweet. Looks right to me. Okay, so now make sure I look at the right chart this time. So, see, that's what I said. Another Leo. Oh, we were talking about this, weren't we? But yeah, a Leo rising, and sorry, a moon in the 12th. Oh, another moon in the 12th house. So yeah, that can be a very intense placement to have, having moon in the 12th house. The moon is our subconscious mind. The 12th house is our subconscious, and it's the hidden place where we hide our most deepest things as well. Not like the 8th house, but it's our psychological and mental state. It's our connection with God, the universe, our higher self. It's where we lose ourselves, but it's also where we disconnect as well, but also where we can self-sabotage. Having a moon in the 12th house just makes you more sensitive and more in tune to the subtleties and to the veils are thinner and to other realms and stuff like that. So there's, trying to be in this realm, but also you can be so stuck in the other realms, basically. And Saturn's there too. Oh, Saturn and the moon together. Yeah, so that's even more difficult having Saturn there. It's very much like if that placement, you definitely have to work on having a really good mindset and having really good spiritual practices that help keep you grounded and balanced in reality, basically. But no placement is bad. It's just it's more challenging. There's a lot of lessons and hard work for you with your mind, your mental state, your connection with God, the universe, your higher self, with possibly with trying to not lose yourself and self-sabotage and disconnect and escape those sorts of things. But it can be really powerful, intuitive, and especially that Saturn and the moon together there in the 12th house, and quite sensitive and psychic, and being able to like tune into the subtleties of things. And Vesta's there. So it's like, whoa, combo going on there. Okay, so this eclipse then is happening in the 10th house for you. So similar situation. So the 10th house being so where the north node is, so where you need to be working towards, moving towards, where you're destined, fated energy, where do you have a long queue at the moment? No, I don't have anyone next, so I can look at your chart next spell work. And there's no you don't have to join queue or anything. There's no actual queue, so I'll just have a look at your chart next. That's all. So the north node, what you're working towards, the future, your destiny, what's faded, is towards your future and your career, and it's 10th house, the legacy you're creating and all of that, and it's that Taurus energy. So it's very much like you being able to it could be even like being your own, work towards being your own boss and being able to create and manifest your own legacy and all that, and you being in control of your future and your destiny through you being able to manifest it, through being able to build and have skills and abilities and your own resources to work towards building your own future and your own destiny, your own legacy, through your own hard work, through your own skills, through your own building of things. So the where you're needing to release and let go of could be something like a career. There could be like a career, or there could be a legacy, or there could be some kind of something to do with your reputation too, because it is quite close to that midheaven too, that Venus there, and where this is falling. There could be a part of your reputation that you need to let go, or sort of society's standards are for you, or something like that, or a career that you thought was a part of your future and your destiny that's just not really aligned, and that's more stuck in fear and control and power struggles, and where you thought it was going to bring you emotional contentment, but it's not really making you happy and bringing you joy and pleasure and all of that. Uh, oh, Juno. So you have Juno at 15 degrees in Scorpio there. So that's definitely something playing into relationships as well in the fourth house of home and family. So whether there's a relationship that a marriage, because it's Juno too, that you need to let go and release, a marriage like relationship, or a relationship that is um yeah, Juno represents marriage. It's partnerships, marriage and partnerships, and the south nodes there. It's about releasing and letting go of what's holding us back in fear, power struggles where we're not empowered, but it's like draining our power, taking the power away from us, where we're not in control, where we're living, where we're just in fear, where we're in our comfort zone, where we're in trauma or toxic relationships, or with people, or family situations, can be our one-on-one relationships. So it could be do with family situations too in the fourth house. I've had the same job for 22 years and have been working on transitioning out for a while now. Yeah, so sometimes eclipse energy there. This could play out over the next 6 months. It could be over the next month. You could something could happen, or it could be over the next 6 months, where, especially because your Venus is there in the 10th house, and the Venus is where we make our money as well. And this North Node and Uranus is there, and Uranus is at 16 degrees there too, so it's quite close to that Venus. And if you've been thinking about it for a while, once Uranus went over that North Node at 13 degrees of your on your Venus, it would have, maybe that's when you started thinking about it, and really wanting to liberate yourself from your career, your destiny, your future, your reputation, what you're building and working towards, your legacy. And something new is going to be eclipsed into your life that's going to be more in alignment, that's going to be better for you, that's going to be more centered with the future, and like your own, having your own resources and skills and abilities to create and manifest. Um, uh, but there's something holding you back in home and family and relationships as well. There's because that south node is there in that fourth house of home, family, our comfort zone. It's where we care and nurture for ourselves, our ancestry, our those sorts of things. Electromagnetic reversal is near. Corey from YouTube is saying. What does that mean? Electromagnetic reversal is near. Is that what you mean collectively for all of us? Uh yeah, um so that Sun and Mercury, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus and the South Node all down in that fourth house of home and family too. So again, it's like releasing and letting go where you thought you were happy and where you thought you found pleasure, and it can be like a false sense of happiness, um, or we have to let go of ideas, plans that we had for the future, for home and family that were part of our legacy and our future and what we were creating that aren't a part of our future and our destiny, that we need to let go and leave in the past, that they've served their purpose, and are no longer in alignment with us, that are holding us back, keeping us fear and out of our power and all of those things. North to south flipping of the earth poles. Oh, whoa, that's pretty cool. So electromagnetic reversal is near. North to south flipping of the earth poles. Hmm. You guys on Twitch won't be able to see that, but Corey on YouTube is saying that. Probably why the weather's so all over the place. It's like the seasons aren't the seasons and what they should be. Because we live in an electromagnetic world, that's for sure. Or an electromagnetic sphere, plane, whatever you think it is. Ancient prophecies, yeah, for sure, definitely. Um, yeah, so friend of Baphomet. So where Saturn is in your chart. So over here, we've got this Saturn energy at, 19 degrees is that. So it's in the sixth house. So just like similar to the previous reading. So there's, so where the restriction, the obstacle, the delay is coming from can be around work, what you do on a day-to-day basis, where it could be again like your health, your well-being, your fitness, your um, how you care and look after yourself. So it can be like the sixth house to me always represents like it's what we do on a day-to-day basis. So we wake up in the morning, our routine. So do we get up early? Do we get up late? Do we have any like spiritual practices? Do we exercise? Do we go for a walk? Do we eat healthy? What do we do? And then we go on with our day and we go through our work. That's that sixth house energy. We have our co-workers that we interact with. We also we have our pets. That's the sixth house too. Our pets come in there, and then throughout the day we go through our routine, what we do. Then we go into our nightly routine of again, could be exercise, you do that at night, our eating, our well-being, what we do on a day-to-day basis. So it's what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. We're eating, maybe we're exercising, we're working, we might be going to uni, whatever it is, whatever we're doing on a day-to-day basis, that sixth house stuff. And it's our routines, what we're doing. And it's our health and well-being, our pets, our co-workers. So any of those sorts of things where there's restrictions, there's delays, there's obstacles, there's conflicts there that are holding us back in some way, that are stopping us from moving towards our future and our destiny, that are holding us back in relationships, that are creating a toxic mindset in some way. So if we're like not eating well, we're not looking after ourselves, we're not showing up not showing up for ourselves every day in that sixth house, then that's when we won't be able to have a positive mindset. Maybe we're like stuck in the negative thinking, or we're not having the confidence to show up in our relationships and to show up for someone else because we're not looking after ourselves. So how can we show up for someone else and put energy and time and effort into them and commit and take responsibility if we're not taking responsibility for ourselves and our daily actions? So there could be something there that comes up too, which is stopping you from having that contentment at home and the family, and stopping you from having those good relationships, and stopping you from being able to work towards your destiny, your future, and what you're building and working towards. And towards finances and money, that's coming up too with that Venus there, and because it's Taurus energy. So you know, there that letting go of the fourth house too, of other people's resources and money. It could be like a family's money or family inheritance or something like that, or where say we were living with our parents or something like that, and they're giving us money and supporting us, or they're providing resources, food, and whatever for us. It's like releasing and letting go of that and going out on our own and creating our own stability and our own finances and our own resources and all of that. So there could be something like that because it's part of your daily routine, what you're doing every day, your work career, and what you're showing up for, and yourself and your health. So there could be something tied in with those sorts of energies too, with someone that has these sorts of placements, or the energies happening like this in the chart as well. It's mainly the paycheck that holds me back, honestly. Okay, yep. So it's the Taurus. So yeah, where you need to release and let go of this lunar eclipse is illuminating is the 10th house. So it's a career, finances, a source of income, a career which is providing a source of finance, financial support and security, that Taurus energy, which is when you release and let go of that, then you're going to be able to something, it will be eclipsed into your life that's new, that will provide you better financial security, that will use your skills and abilities more instead of maybe like relying on um, connections before. Who knows what, like it could be like, because um, it could have been like before relying on like um, having to study and have all these courses, whereas now it's like having that and having knowledge, whereas now it's like no, having those physical skills or being able to do stuff, or being able to like actually do something from what you have, create something from what you have, instead of relying on something that is in the past, or that you've done in the past, something like that as well, something new that's use your skills and ability, new skills and abilities that you have or that you haven't used before. But there's definitely that needing to release and let go in the South Node there of something that's not making you happy in your home and your family, that's not supporting you in some way, that's allowing you to show up for yourself every day too, to then be able to go out and to have the confidence to and self-worth to go after that new legacy, career, reputation, whatever it is. And that's what holds a lot of us back from our dreams, from our what we want to do and create, is money and finances, really, because that's what they say, isn't it? If money wasn't an issue, what would you do? That's like one major question people ask themselves in life, or get asked. If money and finances wasn't an issue, what would you do every day? What would you want to do? What would you want to work? What job would you want to? What would you want to contribute to society? What would you want to do? But it's not always that easy for a lot of us, because we do have to pay our bills and support our families and everything else. So, but it's about that awareness and finding ways to be creative and work towards that. There's definitely something here with relationships too, because Juno's there at 15 degrees with that opposite that Uranus energy. So there's something wanting to liberate you and shake you up from some kind of partnership or marriage and relationships, because Venus is there too. And it might not be so much even like the relationship ending, but it could be like some toxic or trauma past shit from a relationship that needs to release and end and let go in some way. I think a 9. What does that mean? I think a 9. Yeah, that Saturn, because remember Saturn is going through a 2.5 year transit through the Aquarius area of our chart, and for you, it's through the sixth and the seventh house. So it's currently still in the sixth house. It's going to go back into the seventh house, but while it's in the sixth house, it's wanting you to get your health and well-being, your daily practices, your routines, your um, likely like this can be like your mindset too. Just what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, your well-being is making you show up, get serious, take responsibility, put effort and work into those things, so that when it moves into your seventh house, you can show up for others because you'll be able to show up for yourself, basically. Because you can commit to yourself, you can show up for others, and commit to others. I think a lot of what I need to let go of is bad habits from growing up without a lot of financial security early on. Yeah, well, if it's releasing and letting go from the fourth house of home and family and other people's resources and all that stuff. So it can be, it's like past trauma, family heritage, ancestry, and all that. So if you, any trauma around family and home and money and finances and resources. So definitely there's a need to release and let go of any of that that's keeping you stuck and holding you back and out of your power and not in control, to help you move towards that liberating energy of being able to be financially stable and in control and in power of your destiny, your future, and your financial security, through the 10th house of career and work and your legacy and all of that. It's showing you that you have the skills and abilities. You have to liberate yourself and find that self worth, that confidence, that inner stability to be able to support yourself and look after yourself and to create a legacy. I'm on a tablet and sometimes I hit send before I mean to. Oh, yeah, I'm terrible on the tablet. Oh my gosh, when I was trying to type on that on Twitch, it was ridiculous. And when I try to do emojis, oh my gosh. And when I tried to do TTS, it would always be retarded. Oh gosh, it's terrible. But it's died on me and stopped working, so can't complain about it now, can I? Spell work. You'll be BRB in 2 minutes. Okay, as soon as you're back, we'll have a look at your chart spell work. Yeah, but that would definitely make sense. That friend of Baphomet that you would be working through family trauma, um, stuff around resources, finances, money. So other people's resources, money, and finances, so family, um, and anything to do with scarcity and um, lack of things, and the south node is a decrease too. So wherever the south node is decreasing, the north node is increasing. So decreasing like family resources or the need for like having some kind of family support or stability or foundation, and knowing that you can create everything you need through your own skills and abilities and resources and self-worth and confidence. Thanks for letting me look at your chart and thanks for being here. I appreciate your energy and your comments and hanging out. And I hope that it does help somewhat. And I hope this eclipse liberates you and brings you amazing things in your career and your future there. I'm sure it will. Um, oh, moon, us. So you have sun in Cancer, moon in Leo. So you're naturally a nurturer. And moon in Leo, so naturally playful and fun. But Saturn's there, so it does make you feel like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders sometimes, probably. So, you're going to have a nodal return too. Mm, an opposite. Sorry, not a nodal return. A opposition of the nodes, your natal nodes. Um, next year, or 20 here. What degrees is it? 21 degrees. Yeah, next year or the a year to a year and a half, which would be a big turning point in your um life, and it's in the third house, so I think you'll just go through a huge transformation and change in your like mind, your it's going to be in that opposite sign too. Between your education, your learning, your mind, your mindset. Um, yeah. Mm. Could even like end up moving overseas or something like that. Mm. Interesting. Could be travel or changes that happen. Mm. Okay. Are you back spell work? Let me see. I have your old, oh, not old, but I have your chart on my computer. Uh, so, what I might do is because I usually hide your details, spell work. So I'll just bring up the event chart. So this is just the eclipse chart, and then I'll just look at your chart privately by myself since I've got it here saved, and then I'll just discuss it. But I won't be able to point it out on the chart, that's all. So go smaller so I can see what's going on here. Move it over here. That will help me look at it a bit. Maybe I'll finally write another book after 10 years. Yeah, ninth house. That could be it. Ninth house. Well, I was going to say teaching or something, but yeah, writing a book is ninth house too. Um, Teaching, writing, marketing, anything to do with education, higher learning, long distance travel, other cultures, ninth house, that north node, moving there. It's something that's fated and destined, that is um, bringing something from the past back that you used to do, or something from a past life, or some past karma or something, yeah, like that you used to do or past, and bringing it into your future. So yeah, if you have, that's what you've done before, written a book or something like that, it could be that you write another book. You get that energy, that motivation to do it. That's pretty cool. What is your first book? What did you write about in your first book? All right, spell work. Tell me when you're back so we can look at your chart. And then I'm going to go to bed. And then, as I said, I will do some kind of video tomorrow night and put it on Instagram and YouTube. So make sure you're following me on one of those two platforms or both. And I'll go through each of the signs. But if you've already had a reading with me, you don't really need to, I guess, eh? It was an occult crime novel. Oh, okay. I just want to look at your chart again. Okay, all that 12th house energy. I'm thinking, expecting you to have a lot of 8th house energy saying that. Or Scorpio energy. No. Maybe your progress chart. Oh, I can't even, I'm trying to think of anything that would be progress. There's nothing that would be progress to the 8th house. What would be progressed into Scorpio? Not a lot. That's 12th house. Very 12th house related then. It's interesting. Something I'm missing. I'm not convinced. There's nothing in the 8th house. Ah, the IC being in Scorpio, an angle. So that's more related to where you're coming from. I don't know, Uranus and Scorpio. Maybe that's what it is. And then you do have a lot of ninth house energy, obviously. So you've got the South Node there, you've got Chiron there, you've got Mars there. I have Mars in the ninth too. So you've got Mars in the ninth house, which could make you a writer, or make you um, publish, not writer, but make you. Third house is more writing, but ninth house is publishing another book. Jupiter rules the fifth and the eighth. Ah, rulers. Yeah, I'm so tired. I'm not even thinking about anything. So Jupiter rules the fifth and the eighth. So hobby, what you find fun and pleasurable in the eighth house. Where your expansion and growth is. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. And 11th house is where you can have that Jupiter's in the 11th house of higher aspirations and what you're doing for a bigger, higher purpose. Do you have like a community that follows your writing and your books? Or have you developed a community or a following in some way? Are you back, spell work? I want to go to bed. It's after midnight for me now. I might have to go and just send me a message on Discord and I'll have a look at your chart tomorrow and give you a little rundown of it. Oh, I might do that for you, spell work. Unless you've listened to this back, I'll just have a quick look. So it's the fifth house for you. All right, Sister Blue, take care. Have a good day. I haven't really written enough to have a following. Well, maybe if once you do, that's where you can have a lot of growth and opportunities and expansion through community, through social groups, through your higher aspirations. And fifth and eighth house, if that's connects for you, pleasure and fun and hobbies and writing and occult things and crime and all that, that's definitely related. That's cool. It's cool when you can connect all those things like that. All right, I'm gonna send me a message, spell worker. I'll forget to look at your chart, but where you need to release and let go of to make space for something new to come into your life is the fifth house of pleasure, of romance, of passion, of dating, of pleasure, of hobbies, where you find joy, children, your inner child. There's a part of you that needs to release and let go of something there that's mm, keeping you stuck and in your comfort zone, and not allowing you to move forward towards your future and your destiny. And then it's connected to where you thought you were finding happiness, a false sense of happiness and pleasure through friends, friendship groups, communities, where it's trauma and toxic. So there could be some toxic friends or friendship groups or communities or circles that you're a part of that are holding you back and keeping you not in your power and not empowering you, and they're trying to control you or manipulate you or keep you in obsession or power struggles or something like that. That's a big thing that I didn't talk about that comes up with Scorpio energy and South Node and North Node stuff too, is obsession and power struggles where we're going too much for something, that we're holding on so tight that we aren't going to get it because we're just holding on so tight to it that we're resisting it, or it's become so toxic and traumatic because we're holding on so tight trying to control it, that we need to release and let go and surrender. And the more we let go, the more things come to us because we're allowing them to come in rather than holding on so tight we're not allowing space for anything new to come in. So there's something there for you. And then that Saturn energy is in the second house view of finances and self-worth and confidence. So there's a part of you we're feeling restricted or an obstacle or a delay around finances and money or self-worth, confidence, your skills, your abilities, something there that's restricting you from having the friends and friendship circles and social connections that are healthy and that are beneficial, and higher aspirations that move you towards things that are healthy and not toxic and traumatic and keeping you stuck, but help you to move towards a future that is more in alignment with your soul and what makes you happy and what brings you pleasure. And you're finding a new sense of pleasure and fun and happiness. Basically, it's like not where you thought it was and what you've been holding on to too tight and where you've been in your comfort zone too much of where you find pleasure and fun and romance, and that is going to need a big shift and change. You need to be liberated there. It needs to be let go and released, and a new energy come in. So it's like maybe dating new people, trying to date different people or new people you've never dated before, or trying different hobbies out that you've never tried before, or different creative ventures, letting go of like some kind of old creativity or hobby or passion that's no longer in alignment, and finding something new to replace that with that's more healthy and that's more towards helping you build a better confidence and self-worth and all that for yourself, that's based on a really good mindset and healthy practices and things that like um, help you to bring you a like joy and happiness sort of thing. So it's like, and probably letting go of people that create that toxic mindset for you as well, or that don't talk to you nicely, or talk badly to you, and they talk down to you and diminish that confidence and that self-worth in you. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you everyone for being here with me tonight. Appreciate it. I think also having Pluto in the third gives my creative work a darker trajectory. Oh, yeah, definitely. It means your communication, your thoughts are a bit more darker and a bit more skeptical and a bit more investigative and more, yeah, definitely more like that. Yeah, that's definitely spot on there. Thank you all for being here, sister, friend of Baphomet. May, thank you for being here. Corey, if you're still around, thanks for popping in. And Phil was here, spell work. Wine Human, thanks for coming by. Don't know if I missed anyone. But yeah, I will probably be on next week. I try to stream weekly, but sometimes it's fortnightly. It's just when I have the motivation and the to do it, I guess, and the drive. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I want to talk about. Like, there's so much going on, or I've already talked about this enough or that, and then sometimes like just go on and just talk about whatever comes up. Anyway, hope you all have a great rest of the week. Again, make sure you follow on Instagram so you get more daily sort of information. I try and post more daily on there. Sometimes it's only every couple of days, but I'm more active on there. Otherwise, you can see me here on Twitch or YouTube weekly usually. You can catch me on Discord, or whatever else, you can always book a reading with me if you want to get a full reading where we can look into the past, the present, the future. We can look into your current energies. We can look into your birth chart. We look into solar returns. We can look into all sorts of things, relationships, whatever. But yeah, thanks for hanging around, hanging out, and letting me look at your charts and for chatting and everything else. I hope that everyone has a good next week or two with the eclipse. Take it easy on yourself. Just try not to get into any arguments and try to know that everything is, things are leaving our life. It's for a higher purpose and for a reason. Help us release and let go to move us towards the north node, towards more faded things that are in alignment for us. So sometimes things have to be eclipsed out of our life so new things can be eclipsed in during these times. So just have faith that it's all working out for the best and don't go into a whirlwind of trauma and that victim mode or anything like that, or an obsession and toxic stuff. Try and find the light and the truth and be honest and stay grounded and balanced and all those things, as hard as it is. All right, take care and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.